Hey everybody, it's Jaffe coming at you with another tutorial. Today, we're going to do a Lego man, as you see right here. Now, I'm not going to worry about the Lego bricks at this point. We can do that in another tutorial. It would be pretty quick. But let's go ahead and make the Lego man. I think it's always fun to make these little guys, so let's get started with that. Let's go to 3D view here. And I am going to, start my screencast keys, and let's add a background image. And I will be providing these images to you. Images, Lego man. Let's see. Let's do this one for the front. Let's see what he looks like. So we'll need to move him up a bit. And over a bit. 0.45? No. 0.35. That's about centered. That'll work for me. Does that work for you guys? And let's add another image here. We're going to make this the right view. And we're going to open this up. Images, Lego man. Right. And let's go to the right view and definitely need to move this up. And I think that looks good. This one seems to be a bit taller. Am I? Let's do a comparison here. Because I thought these images were. Yeah. Let's shrink this guy down a bit. Let's see. We want the brick to come right up to the circle, so shrink him down. He needs to be shrunk down a lot. Let's do a 4. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay. Let's get started. We're gonna make a cube as you saw earlier, and we're gonna bring it up. I'm gonna go into edit mode and create a loop cut, Control R, and just keep that where it's at. And I'm gonna make sure my grab all vertices is on. That allows me to grab the vertices in the back as well as the front. You can see when that's on because it kind of makes it see-through. If I turn it off, then it's not see-through. So let's go ahead and grab all these vertices and hit delete. And now we have half a box. And if you haven't guessed by now what I'm going to do, we're going to add a mirror modifier. There it is. Okay. So I'll be using box select and circle select a lot. The circle select is really, really useful. It takes a little getting used to because once the circle select is active, you can't do anything else until you get out of it. So circle select is just pressing C. You can scroll your mouse wheel to make it bigger, smaller, for what it selects, and it'll select everything behind as well. To deselect, so to select you click on it, and to deselect you middle mouse click, and then to get out of it you'll right click. So let's go ahead and grab these. We'll move these out here. We'll box select these and move them down. And box select this and bring it out. And as we can see, our Lego man isn't quite centered. So let's see if we can just inch him over a bit. Just to make it wrong way. 0.38. Whoops. 0.38. Oh well, 0.48 works pretty darn well. Let's do, gosh darn it, 0.45. I like that. All right, let's grab this. And there we go. All right, now let's go to our right view. And as we see, this still isn't right, but because we know this is right, what we can do is now move this side and make it a little bit smaller and move it to where we want it. Oops. That'll work. Okay. That's great. So now we kind of have everything, the where we want it, how we want it, what we're going to do with it. It's easy to do with just this simple box. So let's get started here. Boom, boom. Shaka Khan. So this is pretty much done. One of the things we need to look at, though, is no edges are rounded or are exact 90-degree angles in the real world. And that's especially true with the Lego Man. They are more rounded off. There's no direct edges, so we can see. Let's just do a Lego Man. Lego Man. So you can see nothing is quite, although this is a 3D model as well. Good for them. That looks really good. Anyway, so you'll notice that the edges aren't exactly pointy, 90-degree angle. So, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So let's add a subdivision surface modifier. And the easiest way to do that is hit Control-2 on your keyboard. And then we have a subdivision surface. And to square this up a little bit, we will create an edge loop, hitting Control-R, bring this around. We'll make another one here, bring it up. Make another one here and bring it down. Probably a little bit lower. Yeah. And then we'll do 2 here just by using the scroll wheel. And then scale on the y-axis so that they are good there. And that looks pretty good. I don't know about you. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, next step. Let's make the head. Let's make the head. So tab out of edit mode, create a new mesh. It's going to be a cylinder. And we'll bring up the tools panel. And the cylinder, we want to use less vertices. We don't need 32 rings, so 12 will be just fine. And let's rotate. Actually, we don't need to rotate at all. Let's get rid of the caps, though. Right now it has a fill type of n-gon, but let's go ahead and do set nothing. And bring that up right there. Zoom in. And using the T and N keys, I'm going to get rid of the areas. And let's go into wireframe mode, tab into our edit mode, and bring this down. And we're going to scale this so that it's just about the size of the neck. And we're going to box select the top here and bring it down. And from this point, we're going to extrude up and scale it over. Extrude up. You're going to see this process and scale it over. And we're basically just following the head here. We could probably scale this up a bit. Yeah. And we'll go up here. And then extrude a bit here. Whoops. Extrude up. Oops. Sheesh. Extrude and scale then. Extrude here. Scale in. Extrude here and scale in. And then we are going to extrude and then just scale till we have the button on top, and then we're going to extrude this up all the way. And then what I'm going to do is extrude scale, extrude scale, extrude scale, and then Alt M and at center. And then we're going to do the same with the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll grab this bottom edge loop, hitting Alt and then clicking on it. And then we're going to do extrude, E extrude, S for scale, E extrude, S for scale, and then E extrude, S for scale, and then Alt M at center. And there we have our Lego head. I will hit T and we will get out of edit mode and I'll hit smooth shading. And in fact, let's do that on this guy too. Okay. Fantastic. It's a start. It's a start. What's next? We're going to work on the leg. I say leg because we're going to use a mirror modifier to make the other leg. So if we look at the leg, we notice that it's a circle and then some square extruded from it. So let's go ahead and create our cylinder. We're going to make sure that it's only got 12 and no fill cap. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees on the Y. We're going to grab this and bring it up here. Scale in a bit. I think that's going to be just about perfect. And I'll go into edit mode. Make sure that I'm on vertices select. And to do that, I just hit Control Tab to go to vertices edge face select modes. And we're going to take these 4 vertices here. I'm going to hit scale Z0 on the number pad, and that'll put them all in line there. And then I'm going to make sure to select this and bring it so that it's straight. And then I will take all these and I'm going to extrude straight down till we get to the foot, and then stop and then extrude again all the way to the bottom of the foot. And then I will grab these vertices and extrude them out to the toe. And I think that should be right. Now I'm gonna go with this view where the toes are a little bit taller, just because that other one is a little bit off. So we'll just basically select all these and just move them up so that it matches that foot. And then I'm gonna grab all these, move them over here. And I think that's about right. It's not going to be perfect, but it looks good. And we could even, if we wanted, move these out a little bit. Okay. Cool. Now let's grab this edge here, extrude scale in, extrude scale in, extrude scale in, and then Alt M at center. And then we're going to do this one as well. Extrude scale, extrude scale, extrude scale, Alt M at center. Excellent. Okay. Now let's go ahead and create a mirror modifier. So you'll see the mirror modifier is all screwed up, and the reason is because if you look here, we rotated this thing and moved it around, and when we do that, you'll see that our rotation is 90 degrees and our location. So it screws up the mirror modifier. The easy way to get around that is to hit Control A and apply the rotation and scale. And you'll see that sets the rotation back to 0 and the scale to 1 and puts our X right where it needs to be. Okay. So at this point, we need to bring this in just a smidge. And I think that'll be just fine for right now. We'll We'll square this up a little bit more coming up, but for right now, I think that, let's get that actually. So cursor to center, and then we'll do a set origin of origin to 3D cursor. And that way, I think that works just fine. And we are gonna save this as our Lego Man Tut. Cool. My computer's having a little bit of a moo cow right now. It's because I've got Photoshop running. Photoshop takes such amount of energy. Let me go ahead and close Photoshop out. Okay. So let's make sure that we have this shading set to smooth. And when we put our Subsurf modifier on here, this will change a bunch. So in fact, let's do that right now. Let's do a Subsurf, and we're going to create an edge loop here. Bring it out. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And an edge loop here. Control R. Bring this in here. And from the right, we're going to make an edge loop. Whoa. Control R. Bring this up a bit. And then Control R. Bring this down a little bit. Another one here. Square up that foot. And one for the toe. And one for the ankle back here. Okay, great. This is still a little bit wonky. I'm not sure. Oh, did that go away? My bad. Let's bring this out. Okay. We can bring this out a little bit more. We can bring this up just a smidge. Oops. And this one down just a smidge. And all I'm doing is hitting Alt and then clicking on one of the edges, and then it'll grab the whole edge loop. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're clicking on one of these edges and it doesn't go all the way around, that's because your loop is broken. There's a spot in there that it's not a complete edge. So just remember that if you're seeing that edge loop isn't actually going all the way around, then it's not a complete edge or a complete loop. So while we're here, let's also go ahead and rename this bad boy here. So we'll go into our item here and rename this legs. And we'll rename this box torso. And this cylinder head. Excellent. That's just for housekeeping, making it clean, that kind of stuff. And while we're adding Subsurf modifiers, let's do it here. Control 2. And we're going to want to square up the neck here a bit. We'll do one here. And the bottom of the neck. And if we need to, let's do one here as well, just to give that a pretty good solid edge. And one here. Down, and one right along here. And then one up top. In fact, we can actually make it right here. And then I don't like the way this is going, so let's not do that. Let's grab this edge loop and just bring it down a bit. That's why it's doing that. It kind of duplicated an edge there. I wonder if that was me. Yeah, that was probably me earlier when I created that. So that looks good. I still don't like that. Let's see what we can do about this. Let's make this a little bit. Wow, where are all these coming from? X dissolve edges. Is that it? Okay, I must have hit scale a couple times there and screwed that up. Okay, that's a lot smoother. Boy, had some extra edges there. Okay, that looks good, everyone. That looks good. This looks like it's a inset a little bit. Let's click on the top vertex here and hit Control number pad plus sign until I grab these vertices here, and then I'm just going to pick up on these so they're up a little bit because it's kind of sunk down in, if you can see that, and I want it raised up just a little bit. That looks better. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Looking good, looking good. So I think the thing we're going to do next is, you know what, let's just add his little brick right here. That didn't sound right. So we're gonna hit, nope, we're gonna hit Shift A, Mesh, make a cube. We're gonna bring this up and scale it on the Z axis. And scale it on the X. And let's go ahead and we could scale it in on the Y a bit. Fantastic. Let's go into edit mode and Control 2, Subsurf. I keep moving that cursor in the way. Control R. Make two of them, scale it on the X, bring it out here. Same with this side, Control R, scroll the wheel to 2, scale on the Y. Boop. And lengthwise, two of them, scale on the X. And I think we're good there. And we'll make sure that it's set to smooth shading. Awesome. And let's move the legs down just a little bit so they're not right up against it. And actually, let's move them forward a little bit too. Just kind of make sure this is all in line. Okay. Next up is the arms, and then we'll worry about this centerpiece here in a little bit. So, let's do the arms. Yeah? To do the arms, basically, all we need to do is, again, create a cylinder. And with the tools panel, make sure that no fill. And there, looks good here. So we're just going to grab it and move it up. And we're going to scale it along the Z-axis a bit. And then we're just going to scale the whole thing down so that it's about the width that we want it. Scale it up on the Z a little bit more. I think that'll be about right. Let's go into edit mode, and we're going to create a loop cut and bring it down a little bit. This is going to be the bend in the arm. So what we can do here is we can rotate it on the X. Oh, not what we want to do. We want to grab these as well, rotate it on the X axis, give it that little bit of a cut there, and then we'll bring this back to straighten up a bit. Okay. Now, to get this bend in the arm, we're going to grab the top here, and we're just going to rotate it almost flat, and then grab it and bring it over so that it's even right here with the arm. And in fact, let's bring it down just a bit here. And then we're going to create a loop cut here so we can get a shoulder, and here too as well. Now to get this shoulder, we're going to go ahead into edge select mode, and we're going to select these vertices. Now sometimes I hate that the controller gets in the way. So quick way to get rid of that controller is hit Control Space, and it'll get rid of that controller arm. And let's just hit G and grab this up, kind of make our arm, and then let's grab Let's grab these as well, getting that out of the way. And we'll grab this and make this arm more army, as it were. And let's actually grab this too. Just make those a little bit bigger. Yeah, and I think that'll work. All right, let's grab this edge loop here. And we're going to extrude and scale this in. Extrude and scale it in. Extrude and scale it in. And then Option or Alt M and at center. Close that up. And then I'm going to grab this edge loop here. We're going to do an extrude and scale it a bit. And then I'm going to go into wireframe mode that I can see it. I'm going to extrude it up inside the arm here. And this just gives us that little bit of solidness without actually creating too much extra mesh. So then we can go ahead and grab this. And actually, let's add our Subdivision Surface modifier. Set this to smooth. And let's go in and let's crease the arm a bit. So we'll go here, make more of a crease on the arm, bring in these edge loops here so you can see we get more of a crease there. And let's also just bring one down here and one on the inside as well. And one up top here. I think that'll do nicely. So let's go into a vertices mode and select this centermost vertices. And then at this point, what I'm going to do is hit Shift S, and I'm going to do cursor to selected, and then tab out of this, and on the origin, set origin to 3D cursor. And you'll see now our origin is here, and then I can move this and place this where I want it and rotate it up. We need to scale this whole thing up just a bit. And I think that's fine. Let's bring this arm out a little bit more. So I'm going to edge select here. And let's move the cursor back to the center so it's not in my way. And let's select these edges here and grab them and raise them up a bit and give us more of a shoulder. And we'll do the same here. Oops. With these, just to give our arm a little depth. I think that'll work just fine. Let's grab these two. Just build out a little bulk. Okay. I think that's better. Yep, that should be just fine. We'll go ahead and save this. And what we want to do now is add a mirror modifier. So let me set the origin to the 3D cursor. It's down here. And apply this mirror modifier. And you're going to see something wrong here. Now, if you can guess what it is, say it in your head and be like, yay, I was right. But what we have to do is we have to reset our scale and rotation. And that will put this back where it needs to be. So Alt-A, rotation and scale. And there it is. Okay. Let's make a hand. We're going to make a hand next. To make a hand, it's basically just a cylinder, as we can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a cylinder, and I'm going to get stuff out of the way here. So with the cylinder selected, I'm going to hit Shift-H and hide everything. And then I am going to, we can see it's already the 12, 12. And we're going to rotate this on the x-axis 90 degrees. And let's go ahead and scale this in on the y. And all I'm doing is hitting the S key and then the direction that I want it to scale on. So in this case, S and then Y, and then it'll scale only on the Y, or we can hit X, it'll scale only on the X, or Z, it'll only scale on the Z. Okay. Now to make this hand, we want to get rid of, whoops, let's go into edit mode, faces. Let's get rid of some faces here. That'll be good. And instead of creating our own mesh to make it thick, let's add a modifier to do this quickly for us, the solidify modifier, and bring this out. And that is giving us a solid hand. We'll make it a little bit bigger because we are going to use a subsurf on it. And at this point, we can't do anything with this because it's not actual mesh. This is the only mesh up here. So let's actually apply this. And you can't be in edit mode to apply a modifier. So we'll get out of edit mode, hit apply, and go back in edit mode, and now you see it has created all of those meshes. Now to create the wrist, it's going to be easy. We're just going to create 2 edge loops, scale them on the y-axis a little bit here, and then we're going to select these 2 faces. Whoops. And we are going to extrude them up on the z-axis, and then let's scale down on the z so that you can just hit 0 and they'll be flat. And that's easy enough. And let's add that subdivision surface modifier. Now usually I've been just hitting Control 2, but we can go in and hit subdivision surface, create this view to 2. And let's straighten this up a bit. So we'll create an edge loop here and an edge loop here and one here, one in the back, and one on the fingers. Let's get these, one on the fingers here. Still a little bit rounded, but not as much. Okay. That looks good. Let me tab out of here and go to smooth shading. That looks good. Now, one thing we notice with the hands is they come up a little bit. So let's go ahead and get that done. The easiest way to do that, I'm going to tab into vertices mode. And I'm going to select all these bottom vertices here. And then I'm going to hit the O key, which is going to give our proportional editing. You can turn it on up here as well, enable. But I'm just going to hit the O key. And then I'm going to grab these, and you can see this ring, by scrolling in the wheel, allows what vertices to be affected when I start grabbing this. So I'm going to hit the G key and grab these, and oh, I hit the, let me edit out of this. I hit the Shift Tab T, which causes everything to snap. So, oh, no, I did it again. Hold on. Okay, what's going on here? Grab. There we go. That was weird. Okay, so we're just going to kind of play around with this until it's doing what we like, and I think that looks just fine. Just like that. Okay. Now, to bring everything back, let's go ahead and hit Alt-H. That brings everything back, and grab the hand, and we're going to move it up into position. We're going to scale it so that it's the size that it needs to be, and we're going to put it up in the arm here. We're going to rotate this Grab it here. Maybe we could scale it up a bit. And on the front view, we're going to rotate it a little bit this way. Grab it. And yeah, I think that looks good. Let's scale this up a bit more. And yeah, we have a Lego man hand. Lego man hand. Okay. So one thing that we want to do is we already mirrored these arms, but in all actuality, I want the hands to be mirrored as well. So what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to delete the mirror modifier off of this arm, and then I'm going to select the hand and then shift select the arm and then hit Control J and join the hand to the arm. And then at this point we can hit mirror modifier, and there we go. Now notice it's a little bit off, and the reason is because this guy is not exactly centered, but that's okay. We can select these, grab them a little bit, and when we apply that mirror modifier we can actually go in and correct that a little bit. But we do want to move this down just a smidge. There we are. Go down just a little bit more. Okay. I'm happy with that. Our Lego man is coming along very nicely. The only other thing that we really have left to do is to make this ring here, and we can do that very quickly. Let's create a cylinder, and we'll do this here, 12. We're going to rotate it on the x-axis, I'm sorry, on the y-axis, 90 degrees. And we're going to scale it on the x, bring it in, and we're going to grab this and put it right up here. And I think we can go into this wireframe mode. Let's hide the subsurf on this, and then we can grab this and scale it so that it's going to be in line with these. And let's go into edit mode and grab these up a little bit. And oops, Control Z. Let me box select these, and then we'll grab them just a little bit here, just to get these a little bit more even. Yeah. Okay, and then let's go ahead and select this loop. We're going to extrude in, scale, extrude. Alt M, merge at center, and then do the same on this side. Extrude, scale, Alt M at center, and add a subdivision surface modifier, and go ahead and create, oh, let me turn off that proportional editing. Create a modifier here. Let's get it so we can see where we're going. And of course we get out and smooth this. And we can grab it and reach it up a little bit here. Turn back on this subdivision surface, and I think we're good here. Let me grab this on the X a little bit, move it out. All right, hey guys, we've just finished modeling. I'm sorry, guys and girls. Hey everyone. We have now officially modeled our Lego man. Let's go ahead and just make sure everything is named correctly. Look, we've got our arms that aren't named correctly, so let's call this arms. Legs are labeled. This would be crotch. And waist. And torso is named. Okay, everything's named great. Now the only thing left to do is we've got to put on some materials. So stay tuned for that and we'll get materials started.